give you a better shave, Gillette have invented Techmatic, a no-blade razor. Instead of a blade, an astonishing stainless steel band that winds on like the film in a camera. The Techmatic band is twice as thin as any blade and adjustable to any beard.
Hey everyone, Matt Pisarcik with RazorEmporium.com coming at you today for another Razor Archive Studios. The end of the line is here. The end is nigh. The end is nigh. We're at the Techmatic. This, for most people, is the symbol of the end of double edge era for Gillette. Coming out in 1965, running through 1971, the mood in the country was kind of pretty morose. We were in the Vietnam War. Malcolm X had been assassinated, and things were looking kind of bleak. And at the same time, Gillette was getting away from the thing that made them famous, the thing we all love, the double-edged razor. And they were introducing something new and different, and that was the Techmatic. Now, you may look at this razor and say, what the heck is this? And you wouldn't be, I wouldn't blame you for saying that. It's a very strange looking razor, but it actually is very historical. So you have a, nickel plated with a plastic handle component, the razor head, and then you have a band cartridge. And this band's like a cassette deck that has a ribbon of steel that's down here at the bottom, and that ribbon comes up, goes across the face to be a cutting edge, and then comes back down. And you advance it with this little handle back here. And that handle just turns the cassette. So if you've ever used a cassette deck and you got it messed up, you put a pencil in and you turn the pencil and you get your tape to go back inside, it's the same thing. The whole point was that you had a sharp edge every time. You could just turn it and get a brand new edge, like a little cassette deck could just, whoop, it just comes across and you have new steel, new sharp edge. And this was also Gillette's real big first successful venture into system razors, where you are making a blade holding device and the razor handle device married together, that you could patent this and say no one else can make this, and you can come out this as your loss leader and say put them together, get a great shave. You can't go with anybody else. You have to use our Techmatic band with our Techmatic head or handle, right? And so that's the point of this razor. It was fairly popular for its time, but it really led to other things like the Atra and the Track 2 and other things where Gillette was taking this idea of a very thin piece of steel, all you get the little very fine cutting edge, and then suspending that in plastic instead of this plastic. It was more of a cartridge head, right? But it would even keep track of what shave you were on, and you could even, this one's even an adjustable Techmatic where you can take the idea of a fat boy and adjust it for your shave, and it could literally raise or lower the safety bar to kind of change the shave performance. So not only a band razor, but an adjustable razor at that. Very kind of novel, neat. These were famous for going on the Apollo missions for NASA, and they liked it because they didn't want astronauts holding on to a loose double-edged blade and the blade floating around and cutting open some tube or sensor or something. So they liked that you could just turn it and get a new cutting edge. So they did go to space. And my claim to fame is that I was asked by a movie prop house to provide new old stock Techmatics to the horrible horror movie that came out almost a decade ago called Apollo 18. So if you've ever seen that, there's a shaving scene, and Razor Emporium actually provided the Techmatic razors for that Apollo mission movie. But very peculiar. We will have to do a shave because I've actually never used one. We're gonna have to find some new old stock cartridges, and we will. I'm gonna do a Techmatic shave, but that's not the point of today's video. Today is just about the history of these. They were like $266 or something, so maybe like about the equivalent of $26 today money. So it was an affordable razor, and just in terms of rarity, oof. These are the kind of things that I do see most times I go out at antique stores, not only because they were made in large quantities, but because no one wants them. Sorry, but they're practically worthless. I never buy them. If I get them in with a big collection, I literally throw them onto a grab bag on eBay. We hardly ever sell them on the website unless they're like new with the box and everything's perfect. Maybe they'll go on the RazorEmporium.com, but In terms of mechanical issues and flaws, obviously there's a lot going on here with knobs and adjustments and counting your shaves and release levers and advancing levers. And I even just sitting here playing with the one here, I can't get this to properly hold on to the band all the way and be locked into place. It keeps on wanting to pop out. So I think that is indicative right there that this is just kind of a design that, you know, just didn't really hold up. It's not like a Fat Boy or something that, you know, we're going to look at decades later and be still in awe. It does, interestingly, have date codes. So if you pull off the cartridge, you'll see date codes. This one says R2. I think it's like 1971, I think, over here. And yeah, so it still has that date code system from Gillette, right? And but again, the big claim to fame, guys, is that this is part of the beginning of system razors. So we're at the end. The Techmatic is here. It even has a case that's reminiscent of the Fat Boy or Slim with this, you know, molded case, the clear plastic, and they're still trying to hold on to that kind of look. I guess more like the 1970s super adjustable series. But that's all I got. Scale of 1 to 5, is it rare? Is it something you find anytime at an antique store? It's a 1. Nothing rare about it, and you probably will find them. Mechanical issues I've talked about. That's all I got. Maybe a Techmatic shave in the future, and you can learn more about it then. But if you know about the Techmatic, if you use the Techmatic, if you hate the Techmatic, because everyone says they're horrible shaves, let me know in the comments below. I want to hear from you about the Techmatic. That's all I got. Thanks for tuning in to Razor Emporium for all things vintage shaving. Thanks, guys.